Chapter 1 I was kidnapped by the Akatsuki organization. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ninja World, a village somewhere in the land of rain. The boy played with the kunai in his hand and looked thoughtfully at the wandering ninja in front of him. Just now, the young man led his ninjas to stop a stray ninja from looting the village and successfully saved the nearby villagers. The next thing to consider is how to deal with these prisoners. Seemingly reading the young man's thoughts, the young man's subordinate asked cautiously. Byakuya-sama, are you going to kill these ninjas again like before? Byakuya proved his attitude with practical actions. He threw out the kunai in his hand. The kunai directly hit the wandering ninja, causing his body to tremble and struggle. I just asked the villagers, these thieves have lives on their hands, and they deserve to die. But Lord Yahiko has told you not to kill people casually. These people may understand our approach in the future and become our companions. Mentioning Yahiko's name, Bai Ye couldn't help but frown and whispered. If you can't kill people, you can't create accidents. It's reasonable to accidentally kill a few enemies while protecting the villagers. All this is for the future of Akatsuki. After hearing Bai Ye's order, the group of ninjas had no choice but to obey and walked into the forest with their captives. After all, it's true that Yahiko is the leader of the Akatsuki organization, but their direct boss is Byakuya, so there is no need to get involved in the struggle between the top leaders. What's more, they also want to kill this group of wandering ninjas who care about human life. A few hours later, Bai Ye and his party left the village as the villagers sent them off. During the break, Bai Ye dug out the wandering ninja's pocket, looked at the colorful banknotes inside, and showed a satisfied smile. Bai Ye has a secret in his heart. He is not actually a native of the ninja world. Before time travel, Bai Ye was a hard-working worker. During the day, he racked his brains for his boss in the company, and after returning home at night, he had to burn his youth in mobile games. Just before he stayed up late and sprinted to the Super Shadow, an accident happened. Bai Ye, whose vision went dark, traveled to the dire and fiery ninja world and became an ordinary ninja with no blood inheritance limit. It would be fine to become an ordinary ninja. But he did not travel to Konoha, but became a member of the Akatsuki organization, and was still a member of the Akatsuki organization during the Yahiko period. As an organization that aspires to achieve world peace, the Akatsuki organization has never been reliable since its birth. The first-generation leader Yahiko adheres to the pacifism of sitting down and talking, and firmly believes that peace in the ninja world can be achieved if people understand each other. The second-generation leader Nagato's theory of nuclear deterrence is quite reliable, but he plans to kill hundreds of millions of people first. The last leader, Obito, was even more outrageous. He allowed everyone in the ninja world to enter the infinite Tsukimi network, ushered in the extinction of the tribe in the virtual world, and became the nourishment of the Otsutsuki clan. It can be said that the Akatsuki organization has diode thinking from beginning to end, going from one extreme to the other. However, these are things that will happen in the future. The current Akatsuki organization is just an unknown non-governmental organization. In addition to accepting commissions in various villages every day, the biggest problem it faces is the financial crisis. Because the leader is a pacifist, the Akatsuki organization basically has no chance of hiring murderers or provoking wars. It can only accept tasks such as driving away bandits and farming to open up wasteland. Coupled with the good intentions of leader Yahiko from time to time, the organization is basically unable to make ends meet. Although my companions can generate electricity for love and make selfless sacrifices, however, supplies such as weapons and medicines need to be purchased externally, and maintaining organizational infrastructure also costs a lot of money. In order to alleviate the financial crisis, Bai Ye could only lead people to fight against wandering ninjas, and while eliminating harm for the people, he used gangsters to make up for the financial gap. Thinking of this, Bai Ye sighed softly. I didn't expect that before I time traveled, I would have to work for my boss to buy a car and a house, and after time travel, I would have to work for the Akatsuki organization. Isn't this time traveling in vain? Otherwise, he should leave the Akatsuki organization as soon as possible and go to other ninja villages. But now the ninja world war is going on outside. With his current strength, he will be completely cannon fodder after leaving the novice village of Murasame. There is no hope of surviving the ninja world war. Nagato, who has the Samsara Eye, is the only one he can hold on to. just when Bai Ye was thinking about how to get a promotion and raise his salary through job hopping, an electronic sound suddenly sounded in his mind, and a translucent panel suddenly appeared in front of him. System prompt: you have been bound to the Akatsuki organization. The status of the Akatsuki organization will be bound to your body. You can get corresponding rewards by improving the strength of the organization. After the last member of the organization dies, you will also die. Current evaluation of Akatsuki organization: a small and unknown organization. It may become world famous in the future, but few people know about the existence of this organization at the moment. It is recommended to quickly improve the organizational strength. Bai Ye studied the system panel and found that in addition to the development panel, there was also a personal panel and a newbie gift package waiting to be opened. Name: Bai Ye. Age: 12 years old. Current bound organization: Akatsuki organization. Chakra attributes: water, wind, yang. Ninjutsu: 3-body technique, basic kunai throwing technique, wind escape, great breakthrough. Blood inheritance limit: none. Personal evaluation: Chunin: you can crush ordinary ninjas, but in front of a truly strong person, even the chance of escape is very slim. Ignoring the evaluation of strength on the personal panel, Bai Ye continued to study. After confirming that someone was not using illusions to make a joke on him, Bai Ye was a little excited, but not much. According to the literal meaning on the system panel, he is bound to the Akatsuki organization. Although the system does not threaten his life, staying in the Akatsuki organization itself is very dangerous. However, the emergence of the system has completely put an end to Bai Ye's thoughts of job hopping. Fortunately, the system is pretty powerful and offers a newbie gift package. Bai Ye gently clicked on the newbie gift package, and the electronic sound sounded again. System prompt: you have obtained the Whirlpool bloodline, half. System prompt: you have obtained water escape, water chaos. System prompt: you have obtained paper escape, basic. The moment he received the reward, Bai Ye felt a warm current jumping up and down in his body. After a few breaths, Bai Ye felt that his whole body was full of power. Not only did the speed of condensing chakra become faster, but even the range of perception was greatly improved. Seemingly thinking of something, Bai Ye walked to the end of the crowd, rolled up his sleeves, picked up the kunai he carried with him, and stabbed his arm. The blood slowly flowed out from the wound, and then recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye, and soon there was only a faint white mark left without a trace. Seeing such amazing recovery ability, Bai Ye calmly put back his sleeves. As expected of the bloodline of the Uzumaki clan, even if it is only part of the bloodline, the recovery ability is dozens of times stronger than before, but compared to Nagato, who can afford the Rinnegan, the phosphorus that is comparable to human medicine, and Naruto, who is only fatally injured, this level of recovery ability is nothing. It's quite worthy of a half rating. Retracting his thoughts that were gradually diverging, Bai Ye looked at the other two rewards: paper release, basic, and water release. Water release are both common ninjutsu. The only difference is that paper release, basics, is a technique mastered by Conan, while water release, water wave, is Yahiko's ninjutsu. Considering that he has just obtained the Uzumaki bloodline, he should have gained gold coins from Yahiko's trio. As for why others didn't explode the gold coins, maybe they were too weak to explode. After all, except for the Yahiko trio, who may have Jonin strength, the current Akatsuki organization only has Chunin strength at most. Otherwise they would not choose to join the Akatsuki organization. However, the system rewards are really awesome, and they give you the blood succession limit as soon as you get started. With the help of the system, he may not be able to confront the Son of Prophecy in the future and become a ruthless man alongside Kaguya Otsutsuki. Chapter 2: Xiaonan Can't Understand Bai Ye. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The cold rain brought the White Knight back to reality. Now he is just a nobody, far from the capital to make a name for himself. Not to mention meeting a strong person at the level of the 5 Kages. Any elite Jonin can kill him. Only by finding ways to improve strength and develop the Akatsuki organization can we avoid becoming a sacrifice for Pain's birth. Thinking of this, Bai Ye glanced at the subordinates in front of him, his eyes becoming firmer. After returning to the base, Bai Ye asked his subordinates to report on the completion of the mission, while he rushed towards the training ground outside the base. Unlike the Uzumaki bloodline that is directly integrated into the body, although water release, basic release and paper release, basic are also system rewards, they still require a process of practice. As for why not directly develop the Xiao organization. Developing Xiao organizations can indeed quickly improve their strength, but for Yahiko to follow his advice, it is impossible without real strength. Moreover, in the short half-year since time traveled, Byakuya and Yahiko had many conflicts in organizational meetings, which was almost an open secret within the Akatsuki organization. Specifically, he has a hatred towards Yahiko. Yahiko felt that his approach was not in line with the philosophy of the Akatsuki organization and was a bit too extreme. The Akatsuki organization's training ground is very simple. Except for a flat open space and a few erected targets, other equipment is always on the purchase list. However, it is enough for Byakuya who practices ninjutsu. The first is the ninjutsu of old enemy Yahiko. After sitting cross-legged and refining some chakra, Bai Ye formed the mark of water release and water wave. Along with the flow of chakra, a group of water flow gathered from the ground, forming a powerful shock wave. Then, under Bai Ye's control, the water waves hit the target hard. As expected, the result was that it was smashed crookedly. Byakuya didn't expect results to come from the first practice. He was not a monster like Itachi Uchiha, who could learn ninjutsu at a glance. Keep practicing. After repeatedly performing water release and water disruption several times, Bai Ye could feel that his proficiency in ninjutsu was constantly improving. Not only could he successfully hit the target 20 meters away, he could even bypass the target and attack the rocks behind. It seems that the ninjutsu rewarded by the system is indeed good, saving me time of hard training. Moreover, I usually only release 1 or 2 ninjutsu without losing chakra. After acquiring the Uzumaki bloodline, I released water waves more than 10 times in a row without feeling tired. Is this the advantage of Uzumaki bloodline? It's not the limit of blood inheritance, it's better than the limit of blood inheritance. After mastering the appetizer water release and water release, Byakuya focused on paper release and basics. This ninjutsu unique to Conan was much more powerful than water release and water release. More than 10 years later, Xiaonan has achieved film-level strength by virtue of paper escape. Although it is only a basic paper escape, it has a very broad space for development. At least ninja tools such as kunai and shurikens do not need to be purchased anymore. Moreover, the potential of paper release goes far beyond that. After resting for a while, Byakuya began to master the basics of paper release. He successively created ninja tools such as kunai and shuriken, and controlled them to aim at the bullseye. A sharp whistling sound sounded, and the ninja tools all flew towards the bullseye in the distance. At this moment, the paper shuriken that had not yet hit the target was wetted by the rain, and suddenly collapsed to the ground, turning into a ball of mud with no attack power. Water is one of the nemesis of paper escape. This is just ordinary rain water, and the threat of water escape will be even greater. However, Bai Ye, who knew the future plot, also had a corresponding solution. As long as the surface of the paper was covered with oil, it could offset the restraint of water escape to a certain extent. After all, except for a few ninjutsu, most ninjutsu competitions are about release timing and chakra amount. After practicing the shurikens and kunai in paper release, Byakuya focused on the most special and powerful ability in paper release, which was the ability to mass-produce detonating talismans. Only with the ability to create detonating symbols can we solve the phobia of insufficient firepower and solve the organizational financial crisis. While Bai Ye was practicing ninjutsu, the mission report was also sent to Yahiko's office. After opening the scroll signed by Bai Ye, Yahiko's expression suddenly became serious. Although he was mentally prepared in advance, he was still angered by the contents of the report. In the mission report, Bai Ye directly stated that the prisoners all died on the road because they were not accustomed to the climate. Not only was his attitude extremely bad, he was also extremely arrogant, which almost rubbed the IQ of him, the leader of the organization, to the ground. How could a wandering ninja active in the land of rain die due to acclimatization? This reason is too lame. It wasn't until he saw Byakuya's early harvest from this mission that Yahiko's expression softened a lot. Putting aside the differences in philosophy between him and Byakuya, the Akatsuki organization currently lacked development funds. However, he still couldn't agree with Bai Ye's approach of killing to stop killing. At this time, Xiaonan, who was staying at the base to manage logistics, opened the door and walked in. After seeing Yahiko's gloomy expression, Conan asked, "Did Byakuya come back?" Did you quarrel with him again? Yahiko shook his head and pushed the mission report in front of Conan. He didn't come in person this time, but he still succeeded in making me angry. Xiaonan took the mission report, glanced at it and said. Bai Ye is still so outspoken, but he completes the task well every time and relieves the crisis for the villagers in Area 11. He brought us so much money. Xiaonan had long heard about the differences in philosophy between Yahiko and Byakuya, and the two had quarreled in meetings not once or twice. Her intuition told her that Byakuya and Yahiko were both starting out for Akatsuki's future. Yahiko also knows this, so every important task is assigned to Bai Ye to complete, trusting this enemy within the organization almost without reservation. However, there is one thing that Xiaonan still doesn't understand: why Bai doesn't agree with Yahiko's philosophy. Yahiko's philosophy is a conclusion drawn after experiencing the teachings of teacher Jiraiya and traveling in the land of rain for several years. Except for Byakuya, all members of the organization believe that this set of concepts can bring peace. After a moment of silence, Yahiko looked at Xiaonan. I remember a few days ago, you and I discussed the shortage of supplies in advance. This is probably why you came here this time. Xiaonan nodded slightly. The medicines in the base were indeed running out soon. Yahiko took out a few banknotes from the drawer and placed them in front of Xiaonan. Let's go shopping with Bai Ye. He should be near the base now, let him go with you. Although Xiaonan was confused, she nodded, took the money and left the office. New book for newcomers, please collect it. Chapter 3. Xiaonan is a little curious. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Xiaonan found Bai Ye was practicing physical skills. Although the future of paper release is very bright, the foundation of all actual combat is based on physical skills. In actual combat, the role of ninjutsu will be continuously weakened by various factors, but physical skills will not lie. Even in the battle between the five shadows, most of the time they are fighting with physical skills. Of course, the most critical reason is that Bai Ye discovered Xiaonan's existence in advance and deliberately restrained his Jiduan practice in front of the real master. Whether plagiarizing secret techniques is taboo in the Akatsuki organization is not discussed at the moment. He didn't want to expose the fact that he had mastered paper escape in front of Xiaonan. After all, when both parties used the same technique, it would be awkward for who would succeed. Stopping practicing, Bai Ye turned around and looked at the blue-haired girl leaning against the tree trunk. At this time, Xiaonan was only 14 years old, and she was not the blue-haired aunt in his previous life. She was dressed in a ninja uniform, which was more youthful than the red cloud suit with black bottom and red robe in his impression. Xiaonan was also looking at Bai Ye. Bai Ye was a little younger than her, and her clothes were so clean that they were a little white. There is a maturity in his eyes that is beyond his age, and he looks like he has experienced a lot. However, the members who joined the Akatsuki organization more or less had a past that they didn't want to mention, and she was the same, so she didn't want to get to the bottom of it. After the two sides looked at each other for a while, Bai Ye asked expressionlessly, Senior Xiaonan, does Yahiko have something to do with me, so he specially asked you to come here? Xiaonan nodded slightly, then shook his head. Yahiko didn't say anything, but there is something that really bothers you. There is a shortage of medicines in the organization. I would like to invite you to go outside to purchase supplies together. This must be Yahiko's arrangement, right? That without waiting for Xiaonan to respond, Bai Ye got the answer from the confusion on Xiaonan's face, then nodded and said with a smile, I promise to go shopping with you. I just like Yahiko's expression that he can't stand me but can't live without me. Hearing this, Xiaonan froze on the spot for a few seconds and looked at Bai Ye in confusion. When did this wonderful relationship between Bai Ye and Yahiko form? Why didn't she and Nagato know? However, Conan didn't ask any more questions. She was not good at communicating with other people. Except for Yahiko and Nagato, she only had a few conversations with others at most. After cleaning up the training ground, Bai Ye and Xiaonan left the Akatsuki organization base. Walking on the path, Bai Ye learned about the destination of this trip from Xiaonan, and then opened the map. Their goal is to go to the towns on the border of the Kingdom of Rain, where there is an underground black market where weapons, medicines and other important supplies can be traded. The only thing that needs To be noted is that it is the transition area between the Kingdom of Rain and the Kingdom of Grass, and it is very likely to be involved in the war. After all, with neither Iwagakure nor Konoha willing to offend the demigods of Amagakure village, the country of grass has become an important battlefield for the head-on confrontation between the two great ninja villages. In this regard, Sanshuyu Hanzo has made a great contribution to Amagakure village. He successfully prevented the land of Rain from being involved in the Third Ninja War and maintained peace for a long period of time. Even within the current Akatsuki organization, Hanzo's evaluation is very high. It's a pity that after the failure of the Second Ninja War, Hanzo lost his enterprising spirit, not to mention the country of Rain's policy of seclusion. Even the gate of Hidden Rain village was not opened, which led to the defection of groups of ninjas under his command, becoming a major threat to the security of the Kingdom of Rain. If not, the Akatsuki organization in the original time and space would not have risen in just a few years, making Hanzo feel threatened. In the end, due to the collusion of internal, Hanzo, and external, Duanzo, forces, almost all members were destroyed. The only way to avoid this situation is to let the Akatsuki organization feel the reality of the ninja world. There are many most naive people in the Akatsuki organization, but Xiaonan next to him is definitely among the best. He must find a way to teach Xiaonan a lesson and get rid of the useless naivety in his mind. When we arrived at the border area, it was already late at night. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, Bai Ye and Xiaonan each took off their forehead protectors from the Hidden Rain village. This was also one of the important consequences of Hanzo lying down. As the leader of Amagakure village, Hanzo can hardly restrain the ninjas within his territory. The Akatsuki organization with a team of dozens of people was born under the nose, relying entirely on the remaining power of the demigods to implement a policy of isolation from the country, hide in the cave and light a fire to keep warm. The grilled fish grilled over the charcoal fire is appetizing. After being alone for most of the day, Xiaonan finally understood why Yahiko still trusted Byakuya so much even though he had different opinions. The reason is simple. Bai Ye is very reliable, whether it's selecting roads or arranging accommodation, everything is in order. The only drawback is that he is a little too suspicious. Even when facing ordinary people passing by, his nerves are always tense, as if he can enter a fighting state at any time. This made Xiaonan very curious. What did Bai Ye go through before joining the Akatsuki organization to develop such a cautious character? After eating grilled fish and rice balls, Bai Ye looked at the gray sky outside the cave. There was a sound of rain hitting fallen leaves in the dark forest, and his eyes couldn't help but become a little solemn. Sensing Bai Ye's gaze, Xiaonan also looked outside the cave and frowned. Sharp arrows shot through the air and shot into the bonfire, setting off countless sparks. A group of wandering ninjas in raincoats walked into the cave and glanced at Bai Ye and Xiaonan with malicious intent. Seeing that Bai Ye and Xiaonan did not have forehead protectors, the leading ninja smiled. Camping in the wild is not a good habit, especially in such a war-torn border area. If you hand over your property obediently, we can consider letting you die more easily. It's not just robbery, but murder and looting. Xiaonan's face became ugly. She was not afraid of these ninjas, but was angry about their behavior. Bai Ye glanced at the wandering ninjas, pretended to be scared, and retreated behind Xiaonan. During the day, he was still thinking about how to teach Xiaonan a lesson, and the opportunity came at night. He deliberately lit a bonfire in the dark to attract people with ulterior motives to approach. And this group of wandering ninjas was the fish on the hook. While Bai Ye was thinking, Xiaonan had already decided to take action. Under the control of chakra, paper shuriken circled around Xiaonan, and then flew towards the wandering ninja leader at a very fast speed, stopping a few centimeters in front of the other party. Xiaonan was unwilling to kill unless it was absolutely necessary. Stop attacking, or I will kill you without hesitation. You are ninjas. The wandering ninja leader noticed the ninjutsu performed by Xiaonan, and a hint of gloom flashed in his eyes. He then took out the kunai from his waist and smashed the nearby paper shuriken. Just as he was about to make a seal with his hands, a kunai pierced the heart of the wandering ninja leader. Looking at the kunai that pierced his body, the wandering ninja leader showed an incredible look and fell straight forward. Chapter 4: The Country of Rain is Worthless. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pulling out the bloody kunai, Byakuya looked quietly at the remaining wandering ninjas, his eyes locked on the ninja holding a bow and arrow. his eyes looking terrifying, the archer ninja couldn't help but swallow his saliva, and subconsciously took a few steps back. After mustering up the courage to take a bow and shoot, the galloping arrow flew towards Bai Ye at a speed that was difficult to detect with the naked eye. Before it was about to hit Bai Ye, it was intercepted by a wall of water. Immediately afterwards, a pool of water the size of a house hit the wandering ninja. In the face of the huge impact, the wandering ninjas were rushed to pieces, and it was very difficult for each of them to stand still. In the subsequent shuriken attack, they suffered heavy casualties. Seeing their companions fall one by one, the morale of the wandering ninja gradually collapsed, and they began to flee. In their eyes, the white knight that keeps walking through the dark night is as strange as the god of death. Even if it is hiding in a corner, it will be found and solved. After knocking down several wandering ninjas in succession, Byakuya stopped attacking and allowed the remaining ninjas to flee. On the other side, Xiaonan also captured a few wandering ninjas and was walking towards Bai Ye's position. He asked with some confusion, "You let those wandering ninjas go? With your character, aren't you going to eradicate them?" Bai Ye nodded slightly, and then said meaningfully, "I let them go on purpose. They are not ordinary wandering ninjas. There should be someone else behind them." In the ninja world, wandering ninjas are either rebel ninjas or small ninja village ninjas who have lost their ninja village. There is also a special kind of wandering ninja, that is, ordinary people who have learned to refine chakra. This kind of wandering ninja can only use chakra to strengthen their bodies and weapons, but has mastered nothing else. Most of the wandering ninjas they dealt with just now were of this type. He didn't even learn the basic three-skin technique, treading water and climbing trees, so he could only bully ordinary people. Strictly speaking, he was not even as good as a genin who graduated from a ninja school, and the strange thing is exactly this. Compared with this group of wandering ninjas, the strength of the ninja leader is a bit too strong, at least the strength of the chunin, and he can make judgment without hesitation in the face of powerful enemies. This is not what a wandering ninja can do, but more like the ninjas trained by the great ninja village. "Bai Ye, are you too suspicious?" Halfway through the words, Xiaonan fell into silence. From the beginning to now, Bai Ye's judgment has never been wrong. Even Yahiko has almost unreserved trust in Bai Ye. After hesitating for a while, Xiaonan asked, "What should we do next?" "Dispose of the bodies of these wandering ninjas, then follow up with those fleeing wandering ninjas, and find out the ninjas behind them, and let you see the reality of the ninja world." Bai Ye did not read the second half of the sentence out loud, but kept it in his heart. Xiaonan nodded slightly, and then disposed of the bodies of these wandering ninjas according to Bai Ye's request, mainly destroying their brains to avoid obtaining information about the two people from their brains. Bai Ye's professional and meticulous handling made Xiaonan become even more confused. Where did this boy, who was slightly younger than himself, get all this experience? Is there really a natural ninja? Feeling Xiaonan's gaze on her, Bai Ye smiled inwardly, then he took the initiative to walk forward, sensing the chakra of the wandering ninjas while jumping and galloping on the trees. He also wanted to know which force was behind this group of wandering ninjas active in the border area. Although Xiaonan had doubts in her heart, she still followed Bai Ye's pace. After chasing the footsteps of the wandering ninja all the way, until the sky turned white, Bai Ye and the two stopped and stood on a giant tree to observe the situation of the wandering ninja with binoculars. "I saw wandering ninjas walking into a stronghold, and then a dozen ninjas wearing grass-hidden forehead protectors walked out. After looking around, a dozen ninjas wearing grass hiders returned to the stronghold. Behind these wandering ninjas are grass ninjas." Conan's delicate body trembled slightly, and her eyes were extremely shocked. It turned out that some of the active wandering ninjas in the Land of Rain were secretly controlled by Kuzakure village. "Things are not that simple. What you see with your eyes may not be true." Bai Ye's expression was extremely solemn, and he squatted on the tree trunk and began to carefully recall what happened. A ninja wearing a Kuzakure forehead protector is not necessarily a ninja from Kuzakure. The reason is very simple. Kuzakure, which is currently a battleground between the two major ninja villages, does not have much energy to provoke the Rain Country, which has Hanzo in charge, unless they want to draw the Rain Kingdom into the war and completely muddy the water, but the risk of doing so is extremely high. There is no need for Kuzakure village to reduce its territory to a place of 4 wars. and the technique performed by the wandering ninja above his head is obviously related to Earth Escape. Compared with Kuzakure Village, Iwagakure Village has enough reasons to confuse this battlefield. Of course, it is not ruled out that Konoha is up to something. After all, Konoha's Dark Danzo is not a law-abiding ninja. If you want to know the specific information, perhaps you can only understand the specific situation by rushing into this stronghold and capturing the ninja inside. However, the investigation can end here. There is no need to move forward. The risk of rashly attacking this unfamiliar stronghold is too great. They have no need or reason to find out who is behind this group of ninjas. As long as Sanshuya Hanzo is in charge, the Rain country will not be willing to mess with this poor hardnut. Even if you risk losing most of your national power to attack the Rain country, the cost of governance will bring down any big country in the ninja world. Even Konoha, which is currently at its peak, is no exception. He brought Conan here, not only to think about taking advantage of others, but also to let Conan experience the reality of the ninja world. In the land of Rain, a land with an extremely harsh environment, too many naive ninjas were born. Coupled with Hanzo's protection, many ninjas have forgotten that they are not attacked just because they do not have enough value. That's it for now. Let's go along the border to purchase supplies. Bai Ye waved to Xiaonan and was about to jump off the tree and leave this place of dispute when Xiaonan, who was holding a telescope, whispered. Byakuya, that ninja stronghold was attacked, and many ninjas are coming towards us. Byakuya frowned, using the perception ability of the Uzumaki bloodline to sense, and noticed that several ninjas were rushing towards their position. Judging from the speed of movement, they were at least Chunin in strength. Just half a second later, Bai Ye took out a can of special grease from his bag and said in Xiaonan's doubtful eyes. The dew in the morning can easily wet the white paper, but the oil paper will not get wet easily. When you escape, be ready to fight at any time. Our enemies are the elites of ninjas. Xiaonan didn't hesitate, just accepted the grease and entered combat mode, but she still had some doubts. How did Bai Ye know that Ji Dun would be restrained by water? She obviously didn't discover Ji Dun's weakness until last night. Did Bai Ye also discover it at that time? Chapter 5. This is the Ninja World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After giving the special oil to Xiaonan, Bai Ye told her how to use the oil while thinking about the next battle plan. Judging from the movement trajectories of enemies within the sensing range, the Kusa ninja rushing towards this place does not look like they have discovered the position of themselves and Conan, but more like they have encountered a strong enemy and have to flee towards their own position. So, what kind of terrifying ninja did they encounter before they directly chose to escape? Is it the elite Jonin with names in Iwagakure and Konoha, or is it the 5 shadows who stand above tens of thousands of ninjas? Bai Ye didn't know clearly, but the fleeing grass ninjas had now become his enemies. When neither party knew their identities, it was the wisest choice to deal with their opponents first. After waiting patiently for a while, 4 grass ninjas appeared in Bai and Conan's field of vision. 3 Chunin and 1 special Jounin. After sensing some chakra fluctuations, Byakuya reminded Conan in a low voice, and then threw out the kunai in his hand, accurately hitting the branch where the grass ninja landed, and then threw out a few more shurikens. A grass ninja in mid-air was unable to move at all. His body was scratched by a shuriken and he was forced to land on the ground. Conan also took the opportunity to throw paper shurikens. Dozens of paper shurikens formed a dense barrage, instantly drowning one of the grass ninjas and directly transformed into a hedgehog. Well done, you are finally willing to kill. After praising Conan, Bai Ye continued to look at the remaining 3 grass ninjas. Although it was somewhat different from what he expected, it was already good to be able to eliminate a quarter of the enemy's combat power in the first sneak attack. Among the remaining 3 Kusanagi, 1 was infected by the poison he applied on the kunai and would soon lose his ability to fight. The eyes of both sides stayed for less than half a second, and the next round of fighting had already begun. Byakuya and Conan planned to repeat the same trick, but as soon as they released the barrage of kunai and shurikens, the grass ninja captain on the opposite side directly lifted the ground and used the hardened rock layer to block the shuriken attack. Not a grass ninja, but an IWA ninja disguised as a grass ninja. Bai Ye thought to himself, and then shouted to Xiaonan, "Xiaonan, go deal with the ninjas over there, and leave their captain to me." Conan, who was killing someone for the first time, was a little uneasy, but still subconsciously followed Byakuya's order and leaned towards the Chunin. The more critical moments like this come, the more she can feel Bai Ye's reliability. After Xiaonan left, Bai Ye looked at the captain of the Kusu ninja in front and said in a faint tone, "Should I call you a grass ninja, or an IWA ninja?" After his identity was revealed, Captain IWA Ninja frowned. "Aren't you a ninja from Konoha?" Bai Ye nodded slightly. "Of course not, I am the rain ninja from Yuin village." "Then why did you stop us?" Captain IWA Ninja suppressed his anger, and reason told him that he could not conflict with the other party. Once the other party delayed the time, the terrifying Konoha ninja would catch up immediately. "You appear in the land of rain, of course we have to stop you." Byakuya looked at Captain IWA Ninja as if he were a fool, then took a step forward and launched the next round of attack. Countless pieces of paper came out of his clothes, turned into shurikens, and whizzed out. Immediately afterwards, Byakuya formed wind release, great breakthrough with his hands. Using the strong wind to enhance the power of the shuriken, Captain IWA Ninja formed a seal with his hands and slapped them on the ground. A stone wall rose up between the two of them, barely blocking the group attack of shurikens. Hiding behind the earth current wall, Captain IWA Ninja shouted loudly. "Aim Ninja, do you want to start a war between Aim Hidden Village and Iwagakure Village? Our team just strayed into the Kingdom of Rain and will leave soon." Byakuya ignored Captain IWA Ninja, formed a seal with his hands, and spat out a pool of water from his mouth. The pool suddenly submerged the earth flow wall, and with the help of the sound of water flow, the pieces of paper went around the earth flow wall, completely covering the IWA Ninja captain hiding behind. Captain IWA Ninja pulled out his kunai and tried to cut off the paper with his kunai, but the detonating charm hidden inside began to explode. As the fire lit up, the dense explosion scared away the birds in the forest. The jet-black IWA Ninja captain, whose whole body was blown up, completely lost his fighting ability and could only look at Bai Ye with resentful eyes. Byakuya did not approach rashly, but after using kunai to touch up, he slowly approached. After checking the trophies on the corpse, he found the Jonin vest and the mark of Iwagakure village. Only then did Byakuya know that the Iwanin captain was actually a Jonin from Iwagakure village. "Do you already have the strength to kill a Jonin?" Bai Ye shook his head slightly. He didn't think he could kill a Jonin-level enemy casually. This time he was able to kill the Iwagakure Jonin. In addition to the sneak attack factor of the enemy's covert attack, he and the other party were frightened. Related to losing the will to fight, the combination of so many factors led to his feat of killing the Iwagakure Jonin. In this way, the opponent might just be a special Jonin of Iwagakure village, not a real Jonin. Moreover, the current crisis for him and Conan was not completely resolved. They only killed the escaping IWA Ninja team, and the ninja who forced the IWA Ninja team to escape was the real monster. At this time, Conan, who was chasing another IWA Ninja, also returned to the same place. After overcoming the psychological barrier, IWA Ninja, who was only a Chunin, could not be Xiaonan's opponent. After 3 years of Jiraiya's education, the trio actually had a strength close to that of a Jonin. It's just that because he is unwilling to kill, every time he takes action, he is too conservative and cannot use his full strength. Conan glanced at Captain IWA Ninja who was lying on the ground. When he was about to say something, he saw the piece of paper next to Bai Ye, and his doubts became even more intense. She couldn't remember when she had used ninjutsu here. Maybe the battle just now was so intense that I forgot about it. Xiaonan didn't think much. When she came to Bai Ye, she looked at Bai Ye with a solemn face and asked with concern, "Bai Ye, are you injured?" Bai Ye shook his head and picked up the trophy with Iwagakure's logo. "Senior Xiaonan, these people are not ninjas from Kusagakure village, but Iwagakure disguised as Kusanagi. Maybe they want to provoke a fight between the land of rain and Kusanagi. The war in the country." Xiaonan felt that her brain seemed to be insufficient. Aren't they chasing a group of wandering ninjas? Why does the identity of the wandering ninja keep changing? Just now he was disguised as a grass ninja, and now he is disguised as a rock ninja. The world of ninjas seemed more complicated than she imagined, and she couldn't even tell who the enemy was. but if she is a ninja from Hidden Rain Village, and she really mistakes the other party for a grass ninja and reports the information, a conflict might really break out between the country of rain and the country of grass. Bai Ye noticed Xiaonan's expression. He wanted to comfort Xiaonan, but what Xiaonan needed was to be impressed. Senior Xiaonan, not only are you disguised as ninjas from other countries, but even the villagers may be disguised as enemies. In this chaotic world, you cannot completely relax your vigilance when facing anyone, including your companions. This is the cruel ninja world. Chapter 6 Kakashi Team. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Byakuya and Conan ambushed Iwagakure, a group of Konoha ninjas were also chasing the enemy. When leading the Jonin team to attack the enemy's stronghold, their mission was to prevent the enemy from transmitting information to the outside world. However, from the perspective of the white-haired boy leading the team, this was more like the Jonin teacher providing them with an opportunity to practice. To be precise, it is an opportunity to provide two burdens around you. He had just been promoted to Jonin and had already participated in dozens of battles. He did not need to participate in this trial to experience the cruelty of war. Hey, Kakashi, why are you acting so desperate again? We are on a mission. The black-haired boy wearing goggles noticed the cold expression on Kakashi's face and said rather unhappily. Kakashi glanced at Obito and jumped directly to the big tree nearby to check the footprints. He ignored Obito's thoughts at all. He just wanted to complete this mission as soon as possible. Kakashi's attitude is really infuriating. One day I will teach him a lesson. Obito folded his hands on his chest and looked at Kakashi's back with an unhappy expression. Hearing this, the brown-haired girl Noera Lin next to her showed a helpless smile, patted Obito's shoulder, and comforted. Okay, it's not like you don't know what happened to Kakashi. I haven't been in a good mood. But I still can't forgive him for thinking. How could the mission be more important than his companions? Obito's attitude became much gentler, but he was still full of dissatisfaction with Kakashi. A little angry, he caught up with Kakashi's pace, and together with Kakashi observed the traces left by the enemy when they fled. Suddenly, there was a violent explosion in the distance. The moment he heard the explosion, Obito's eyes lit up and he quickly jumped in the woods and rushed towards the location of the explosion. Looking at the reckless Obito, Noera Rin quickly chased after him. Kakashi, who was not far away, frowned, but still followed. Except for the team led by Minato-sensei, no ninja team was willing to accept him. Obito was very fast and arrived at the fighting area in less than half a minute. Looking at the big trees that left traces of the battle around him, he looked around excitedly, trying to find the enemies hiding nearby. Just when Obito was about to jump down from the tree, a voice sounded from the forest. Don't go any further. The detonating talisman trap I have set up is ahead. Unless you can confidently withstand the impact of the detonating talisman, you'd better not seek death. Obito quickly took a few steps back, and after throwing out the kunai, there was an explosion in front of him. The air wave caused by the explosion made Obito break into a cold sweat, and he looked at the two figures who suddenly appeared in front of him with lingering fear. The two figures were none other than Bai Ye and Xiaonan. After solving the IWA ninja team, Byakuya sensed the Kakashi team. And before Obito appeared, he was the first to notice Hatake Kakashi standing on the treetops. The white-haired boy, the black mask and the eye-catching Konoha forehead protector reminded him of Kakashi Hatake. In this impression, Kakashi is 50-50 equal to anyone. Even in his teenage form, he still possesses the strength of a Jonin and is the leading genius boy in Konoha Ninja Village. After confirming Kakashi's identity, the black-haired boy's identity became clear. It was Uchiha Obito, nicknamed Uchiha Kenji, who later destroyed the entire Akatsuki organization while the Yahiko trio were out negotiating. For a moment just now, he wanted to kill Obito in advance to prevent Obito from getting sick and dealing with the Akatsuki organization in the future. But after thinking twice, he still reminded Obito, maybe he can kill Obito here, but without Obito, Red Earth, and White Earth, Kakashi on the side is not an easy character to deal with. The probability of overturning by force is extremely high. More importantly, Kakashi and Obito cannot let the IWA ninja choose to give up the mission directly. During the Third Ninja War, there was only one ninja who could make IWA ninja choose to give up his mission, and that was the future fourth Hokage, who had the golden title of Namake's Minato. Who are you? Obito asked cautiously. Byakuya ignored Obito, looked at Kakashi, pointed to the forehead protector on his forehead and said, Konoha ninja in front, please explain your behavior of trespassing into the border of Rain Country. Kakashi fell into deep thought and seemed to have no idea what to say. Byakuya looked at Noara Rin, who was wearing purple paint, narrowed her eyes slightly and said, if you don't explain the purpose of your visit, can I assume that you are planning to infiltrate the Kingdom of Rain? Hearing this, Obito was a little annoyed at being ignored, and when he was about to speak, Kakashi stopped him. We cleared out the stronghold established by Iwagakure village in the country of grass and accidentally entered the country of rain. We will leave immediately. If there is any offense, please forgive me. Isn't that the grass ninja we just killed? Bai Ye touched his chin, and then looked at Xiaonan, who was beside him. Xiaonan, who understood the situation, also showed doubts in his eyes. Seeing that the atmosphere between the two parties had eased slightly, Kakashi continued to explain, what you killed was the IWA ninja disguised as grass ninja. Their goal was to provoke a war between the country of grass and the country of rain, and let the hidden rain village participate in this war. A war. Byakuya's face became serious. We can't completely believe you, but we will tell Master Hanzo. And how can you guarantee that this is not a conspiracy of your Konoha? My fathers told us that you Konoha ninjas once fought wars on the land of rain. Kakashi choked for words. He had also heard the news about the Second Ninja War. It was said that the three ninjas of that year were defeated by Hanzo the Sanshuyu in the land of rain and won the title of Three Ninjas. Even though the famous leader of Yuin village has not shown up for several years, he still affects the surrounding countries. If his inappropriate words caused the Amigakure village to become dissatisfied with Konoha, that would be troublesome. At this time, seeing that the atmosphere was almost heightened, Bai Ye snorted coldly and gave a solution. Looking at you, you don't have the strength to penetrate the Kingdom of Rain. Let's forget it this time. I will go back and tell Lord Hanzo everything that happened here. Next time you break into the land of rain, maybe Hanzo-sama will go talk to your Hokage-sama. After saying that, Byakuya carried the body of the IWA ninja on the ground, and rushed towards the depths of the rain country with Konan, and soon disappeared into the rain forest. After Byakuya and Konan disappeared, Kakashi, who had a straight face, finally breathed a sigh of relief. His intuition told him that the blue-haired girl was not much weaker than him, and the younger boy next to him gave him a great sense of crisis. The other party is likely to be like himself, having gained the strength of a Xiaonan in his early teens. Chapter 7. It can be considered as a safe escape. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Unlike Kakashi, who was secretly grateful, Obito, who was ignored the whole time, was deeply offended. Climbing up from the ground, Obito looked up at the jungle in the distance and said unconvinced, Kakashi, why didn't you take action just now? I think they are probably enemies of the village. From Obito's point of view, the boy and girl opposite him were about the same age as him. Even if they are stronger than him and Lin, they are still very strong. As long as Kakashi is willing to take action, if the three of them go together, they will definitely be able to teach the opponent a profound lesson. By then, he would be able to shine in front of Lin and completely overshadow Kakashi. Kakashi glanced at Obito, shouted crane tail, and then threw out a few kunai. The kunai accurately hit the detonating charm hidden in the blind corner, setting off an explosion in the forest. Amid the explosion, Kakashi's voice sounded again. Obito, if you want to die, I won't stop you, but don't implicate the whole team. Kakashi's words angered Obito, who put his hands on his hips and said, Kakashi, don't be proud. As long as I can awaken the Sharingan, I will definitely surpass you and help you get rid of your habit of looking down on others. Yes, yes. Kakashi showed no interest and continued to clean up the traps buried around him. Compared to quarreling with Obito, Kakashi was more interested in the boy and girl. Judging from their age, Byakuya and the others could grow into strong men in their own right sooner or later. In addition, he must continue to complete the trials given by the leading Xiaonan. After being ignored one after another, Obito became completely angry, like a crazed puppy, constantly baring his teeth and claws. Feeling that the atmosphere was getting tense, Noara Rin had no choice but to come forward to comfort Obito, while frowning and worrying about the future of the team. Kakashi is too cold and Obito is too impulsive. Can't the two of them complement each other? At this time, accompanied by a gust of wind, the young Minato wearing a green Xiaonan vest appeared beside Kakashi and others, and forcefully hugged Obito and Kakashi together. Okay, stop arguing. Obito, Kakashi's judgment is right. Kakashi, can't you tell Obito that that boy is not even sure of defeating you? Facing the pressure from the teacher, Kakashi had no choice but to say, Obito, I was negligent. The boy and girl just now were very strong. If we force a fight, I'm worried that we will all die. Are they really that strong? Obito's focus wasn't on apologizing, but on Kakashi actually admitting to being inferior to others. Kakashi graduated from the ninja school at the age of 6 and recently became the youngest Jonin genius. Even if he wants to surpass Kakashi, it will probably take a long time, and judging from his body and appearance, Bai Ye seems to be a little younger than him. At this time, Obito seemed to remember something again, looked at Namake's Minato and said, Wait, Minato-sensei, were you paying attention to us just now? I thought. Only fools don't know that this is a trial given to us by Minato-sensei. Kakashi crossed his arms, his tone full of disdain. Seeing that the atmosphere became subtle again, Namake's Minato came out to smooth things over again and said, It was indeed a good trial just now, but if you are not in danger of your life, I will never take action. You can't grow if you always stay in a comfortable environment. That with the efforts of Minato Namake's, the atmosphere of Minato's class relaxed. After checking the loot, they stayed away from the border of the land of rain. Before leaving this place, Namake's Minato took a deep look at the place where Byakuya and Conan disappeared. Judging from their age and strength, Byakuya and Conan should be ninjas carefully trained by Hanzo. Did they appear at the border of the land of rain to prevent the invasion of Iwagakure, or did they have other purposes? Did Hanzo, who had been through the entire Second Ninja War, lose his patience? Namake's Minato had no answers to these questions, but no matter what Hanzo wanted to do, he was ready to meet the challenge. After all, including this stronghold disguised as Kusagakure, he had already destroyed 5 Iwagakure strongholds. As long as all the Iwagakure strongholds in the Land of Grass are destroyed, the war between Konoha and Iwagakure village should be able to come to an end. However, he seemed to have heard Jiraiya-sensei mention the appearance of the blue-haired girl. After running around with Xiaonan for dozens of minutes, Bai Ye dared to sit down and rest. When facing Kakashi, although he did not see Namake's Minato, he felt the existence of Namake's Minato. The feeling of a ray of light on his back was very uncomfortable, giving him a strong sense of crisis that his life could be deprived of him at any time. If he was really allowed to fight Namake's Minato, he would only be able to hold on for a few seconds at most before he would be killed by the Flying Thunder God. Flying Thunder God is a ninjutsu that enables teleportation and can be teleported to the vicinity of a marked location. The characteristics of this ninjutsu made it impossible for ninjas of the same level to keep Namake's Minato away. Low-level ninjas could not even escape in front of Namake's Minato. Eventually, the title Golden Flash was born. Bai Ye, what's wrong with you? Xiaonan asked cautiously. This was the first time she saw Bai Ye's uneasy eyes. Byakuya calmed down, put on a smile, and chuckled, It's nothing, I'm just happy to have escaped. Just now, we met a Jounin who can compete with the Hokage. Jounin enough to compete with Hokage? Conan was puzzled. Among the ninjas they just met, there shouldn't be such a big shot. Don't you feel it? Maybe my perception is wrong. Although I am born with stronger perception than ordinary people, I am sometimes too sensitive. Did you also know that you are too sensitive? Xiaonan cursed in her heart, and she was stunned even as she complained. She obviously would not speculate on others casually. After calming down, Bai Ye also began to think about whether his behavior just now was too cautious. Neither he nor Conan are IWA ninjas, and they still wear Amigakure forehead protectors. There is no need for Minato to take the risk of provoking a war against them. In the original novel, Minato Namake's is also a gentle character, but the next moment, Bai Ye abandoned this innocent idea. Minato's sunshine was aimed at Konoha ninjas, not outside village ninjas like him. To other ninjas in the ninja village, Namake's Minato was a demon wielding a scythe, harvesting the lives of his companions wantonly. he was more willing to believe that Namake's Minato recognized Conan's identity, so he let them go. Judging from Jiraiya's relationship, Namake's Minato and Conan are considered brothers and sisters, but they are not very familiar with each other. In the final analysis, his strength is still too weak. The ability to kill special Xiaonan is not bad in the small country of Rain, but in the scope of the entire ninja world, he is just a fledgling newcomer. If he had the strength to make Namake's Minato fearful, he would be able to tell the location of Namake's Minato openly. However, does this count as him fighting Minato Namake's and getting away unscathed? Chapter 8 Paper Escape Explosive Talisman Making Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Paper Escape Detonating Talisman Making Technique. After laughing at himself, Bai Ye took out the map. After half a day of tossing, he and Xiaonan had seriously deviated from their schedule. The border black market, which was originally expected to arrive today, might be delayed until tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. However, all this hard work is not without reward. Not only did I get a lot of loot, but I also met key plot characters such as Kakashi and Namake's Minato. Judging from the fact that Obito has not yet opened his Sharingan, the Battle of Kanabi Bridge has not yet begun, and he and the Akatsuki organization still have plenty of time to develop. More importantly, after experiencing these things, the angel Xiaonan next to him will at least have some basic judgment and be less naive towards the enemy. Just when Bai Ye was sighing, Xiaonan seemed to remember something and came over to ask, Bai Ye, why do you prepare waterproof grease on your body? How do you know the weakness of paper release? The corners of Bai Ye's mouth twitched slightly, and he had just complained that Xiaonan had good judgment, and then he doubted himself. After thinking about it in his mind, Bai Ye said slowly, I've seen your paper shuriken get wet from the rain. Xiaonan showed a suspicious look, and Bai Ye had no choice but to continue. Of course, the most important thing is that I have also mastered the secret technique of paper escape. If it were not for the secret technique of paper escape, I would not be able to defeat that IWA ninja Xiaonan so easily. You also know the secret art of paper escape. Xiaonan is incredible. Paper escape is a secret technique that belongs exclusively to her, and it was actually mastered by others. This surprised her even more than Bai Ye's possession of waterproof grease. Bai Ye nodded and compiled it to the end. When I was at the base, I often watched Senior Xiaonan practice paper escape, and I wondered if I could learn it. As a result, by some strange combination of circumstances, I learned Senior Xiaonan's secret technique. If it hadn't been for this emergency, I don't even dare to let Senior Xiaonan know. Xiaonan couldn't remain calm anymore, and her mood was extremely complicated. If she had known Bai Ye's secret paper escape technique before today, she would have complained in her heart at most and would not have been stingy about her teachings to Bai Ye. We are all members of the same organization, so it doesn't matter much, but the reality is that Bai Ye not only secretly learned her secret technique, but also surpassed her in paper escape. Who is imitating whom? Xiaonan's shock was seen by Bai Ye, and he also felt that he was talking too much. However, he would definitely not expose the secret of the system, and among the many remaining options, he might as well admit to secretly learning the secret technique. At least it would look upright. After the two sides were silent for a while, Xiaonan didn't know what to say, so she could only continue to look for topics lamely. I didn't expect that your accomplishments in paper escape surpassed mine. It seems that I still need to keep working hard. By the way, what do you think of the secret technique of paper escape? There is still no room for improvement. Bai Ye was also a little embarrassed, so he followed Xiaonan's topic and continued. I think the most important thing in the development of paper release is imagination. As long as the imagination is strong enough, paper release can also develop the ability to fly. However, among many developments, I think making a detonating talisman is the most suitable. Create a detonating talisman. Xiaonan looked serious. She seemed to have never thought of using paper escape to create detonating talismans. At this time, Bai Ye continued. Senior Xiaonan, the detonating talisman is a big killer on the battlefield. As long as we master the method of making the detonating talisman, we will have countless detonating talismans to use. Even the strong ones at the 5 shadows level will be overwhelmed by the detonating talisman. After Bai Ye explained the advantages of the detonating talisman, Xiaonan's eyes gradually brightened. However, after using the detonating talisman as the main means of attack, it would be difficult to hold back against the enemy. Thinking of the rumors about Bai Ye in the organization, Xiaonan's eyes became uncomfortable. In order to oppose Yahiko's philosophy, Byakuya would not deliberately allow himself to develop dangerous ninjutsu and then kill people. Thinking of this, Xiaonan herself was frightened by her own thoughts, but mass-producing detonating talisman seemed to be the correct way to open paper escape. If he could really produce detonating talismans in batches, he would be able to defeat stronger enemies. The ideas and dreams of the Akatsuki organization will also be realized more easily. As for the method of making detonating talismans, Mr. Jiraiya seemed to have really taught him back then. For him, it was not very difficult. System prompt: the Akatsuki organization adds an elite Xiaonan and rewards the method of making detonating talismans. After hearing the pleasant sound, the corners of Bai Ye's mouth curled up. Using the ninjutsu that Conan will master in the future, giving Conan guidance in advance can indeed significantly improve Conan's strength, allowing Conan, who was originally a Xiaonan, to evolve towards the level of an elite Xiaonan. Judging from this speed, Xiaonan may have shadow-level combat power before she reaches adulthood, and Xiaonan, who has shadow-level strength, will in turn improve his own strength. After confirming that no one was chasing them, Bai Ye and Xiaonan quickly set off on their way without wasting any more time. After exchanging some paper escape experiences with their hands, the two of them tacitly revealed the matter of secretly learning the secret technique. The two parties themselves are companions of the same organization and have just experienced another dangerous battle. There is no need to hold on to the secret technique. Heading towards the border town, Bai Ye clearly felt that the number of pedestrians on the roadside was significantly smaller than yesterday. I don't know if it's because of wandering ninjas, or regular troops pretending to be wandering ninjas. However, not many people would abide by the rule that ninjas cannot attack ordinary people during the war. Even if it is just destroying people's houses in a ninjutsu battle, it is unbearable for ordinary people. They can only take their families away from their hometown and flee to a place not affected by the war. Bai Ye has watched these shocking scenes countless times during the time he traveled through time. This is one of the reasons why he cannot agree with Yahiko's philosophy. Getting closer and closer to the border town, there was a vague foreboding in the white night. Not long after, Byakuya's premonition became a reality, and his and Conan's destination turned into ruins. Except for a few ninjas from Hidden Rain Village patrolling here, there were only some civilians who had no time to escape. If even the town is reduced to ruins, the black market established based on the town will naturally disappear. In other words, their procurement plan is destined to fail, and if they want to obtain urgently needed supplies, they can only try their luck elsewhere. Senior Xiaonan, where should we go next? Bai Ye asked Xiaonan. His mission was to escort Xiaonan. Xiaonan decided where to go. Looking at the destroyed town, Xiaonan didn't know where to go, shook his head and said, "I don't know where to go. This is already the last black market in the country of rain. There are no medicines and weapons we need elsewhere. Is this the only black market in the kingdom of rain?" Bai Ye was a little speechless, but the black market itself was a shady thing. In a country as small as the Rain country, there was a closed-door policy. Once it was destroyed, it would probably be re-established in a short time, but looking at the endless grassland in the distance, Bai Ye had new ideas. "Senior Xiaonan, should we go to other countries besides the Rain country? Maybe other countries have what we need." Chapter 9: How to Survive in Caoyin Village. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Try your luck in another country. Xiaonan looked hesitant, thought twice, and nodded. Although she has never had the experience of leaving the country of rain, the supplies within the organization are already seriously insufficient. Compared with the dangers she may encounter when leaving the country of rain, she is more worried about whether her companions will be short of food and clothing. Sensing Xiaonan's uneasy mood, Bai Ye turned around and showed a helpless smile. In the system's evaluation, Conan is a ninja with elite Jonin strength. Even with the soft-hearted debuff, he may only be able to exert the strength of a Jonin, but he is still the best among ninjas. However, it was this indomitable spirit that attracted him to stay in Akatsuki, an unreliable organization. After leaving the land of rain, the weather got better and better. Unlike the country of rain, where it rains all year round, the country of grass not only has pleasant weather, but also occupies a fertile grassland and forest, if it weren't for the presence of troublesome monsters in the territory and the need for a buffer zone between big countries. The country of grass would have been carved up by the three big countries next to it, and even Hanzo would come over to get a piece of the pie. Walking in the land of grass, Bai and Xiaonan, hiding their identities, inquired about the location of the black market along the way. Regrettably, after the battle between Iwagakure and Konoha started, the black market in the country of grass was either destroyed or military control was implemented, and the control of arms and medicines was stricter than that in the country of rain. However, there are many more opportunities for cheating and cheating. They picked up a lot of useful supplies and ninjutsu from the corpses of dead ninjas, but it was still a drop in the bucket for the supplies that the Akatsuki organization lacked. After wandering around the country of grass for a few days, Byakuya and Conan came to the ninja village and Kuzukan village of the country of grass, Caoyin village, a village in the true sense, unlike other great ninja villages called ninja villages, which are actually important military towns with hundreds of thousands of people living there. Kusugakure village has a permanent population of less than 10,000, and the number of ninjas is only a few hundred, which is not a mass at all. In peacetime, they rely on cheap entrustment fees to seize the market and collect some tolls to barely maintain expenses. During the war, we can only allow the big powers to wage war wantonly on their territory, vacillating like grass on the wall. Huddled in Caoyin village, after disguised as a businessman and successfully entering Caoyin village, Xiaonan looked at Bai Ye aside and couldn't help but ask. Bai Ye, can we really buy supplies here? Bai Ye was not sure enough, but he still said with determination, if you go to the market and have a look, you will know that if you dare to open the village during the war, Caoyin village must have a few brushes. Xiaonan nodded doubtfully, and the two of them walked into the market of Caoyin village as merchants. As soon as he entered the market, Byakuya saw many Kusanagi standing guard nearby. This trading market in Kusugakure village obviously had a high-level background in Kusubikure village, and the things sold inside were also eye-opening. In addition to kunai, shuriken and other weapons, there are even people selling ninjutsu scrolls. Although it is the lowest level of ninjutsu, it is obvious that Kusugakure village is confident in selling these openly during the war. After asking several merchants, Bai Ye and Xiaonan got news about the sale of supplies. However, after hearing the high prices of the supplies, Xiaonan's expression immediately dimmed. She didn't bring enough money to buy enough supplies. Seeing this scene, Bai Ye took out the heavy money bag from his backpack and handed it to Xiaonan. Don't look at me. This is the money I got from selling detonating charms. Senior Conan can obviously make detonating charms, but he has never thought of selling detonating charms for money. In the current ninja world, detonating charms are hard currency. It was obviously me who mastered the art of making detonating talismans first. Xiaonan looked at Bai Ye expressionlessly, but the heavy purse made her feel extremely reliable. Just when Xiaonan was about to say something, Bai Ye took the initiative to distance himself and quickly disappeared into the market, leaving only a note filled with black words. Xiaonan-senpai, I'm going to go out for a walk. I'll meet you at the hotel later. After reading the above content, Xiaonan crushed the note and a reassuring smile appeared on her cold face. After getting rid of Xiaonan, Bai Ye walked alone on the streets of Caoyin village. In addition to not wanting to bargain with the merchants, he was also looking for suitable prey. Of course, it is impossible to go on a killing spree in Kusukure village unless he has Hanzo's strength. He also hates using murder to solve problems. He prefers mental torture to physical torture, but physical methods are often more effective. With thoughts like burning weeds, Bai Ye began to take the initiative to approach the grass ninja, hoping to hear the information he wanted from the grass ninja's conversation. To be precise, he wanted to hear information about the Uzumaki clan. In the memory of his previous life, Uzumaki Kaso was a ninja from Kusukure village. Kaso was extremely talented. As long as he received appropriate training, he was guaranteed to be an elite Xiaonan-level ninja. Judging from the current timeline, although Xianglan has not been born yet, Xianglan's mother may have already come to Caoyin village. As long as he can find Xiang Lian's mother, he can recruit an extremely talented seed player for the Akatsuki organization, thereby allowing him to obtain new system rewards. Otherwise, the ninja world is so big, there is no need for him to take Conan to the land of grass. After several hours of investigation, Bai Ye found nothing at all. Either the level of the group of grass ninjas was too low, or the mother of Xiang Lian hadn't come to the grass-hidden village at the moment. He didn't hear anything useful. Information: the only Uzumaki ninja I heard about was the Konoha ninja Uzumaki Kushina. After dark, Bai Ye met Xiaonan at the hotel. Judging from Xiaonan's excited expression, the procurement operation must have been very successful, and enough weapons and medicines were purchased for the Akatsuki organization. Bai Ye, you gave me 1 million taels and you have 200,000 taels left. I will find a way to pay you back the money I spent. The price of weapons purchased this time is 3 times the normal price, but the price of medicines has not increased much. I bought a little more this time in case of emergency. The taciturn Xiaonan suddenly became cheerful, leaving Bai Ye still not used to it. However, when he heard that the price increase of drugs was smaller than that of weapons, Bai Ye frowned and said to himself, the price of weapons has increased several times, but the price of drugs has not increased much. Why is this? Hearing Bai Ye talking to himself, Xiaonan also fell into deep thought. After a while, Bai Ye looked at Xiaonan solemnly. Senior Xiaonan, write a letter to Yahiko immediately and tell him that the supplies will be sent to the border of the country of rain and have someone sent to receive them. We still need to stay in the country of grass. A period of time. Xiaonan nodded slightly. Although she didn't understand the situation, she still agreed out of habit after seeing Bai Ye's solemn eyes. Chapter 10: Let him taste betrayal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few days later, inside the Akatsuki organization base, after finishing the work at hand, Akatsuki leader Yahiko looked at the 2 letters on the table. Judging from the handwriting, one of them was written by Conan, and the other was from Byakuya. Xiaonan's letter described in detail her and Bai Ye's experiences in the past few days. It was important to mention that they had encountered the Konoha ninjas who had wiped out the IWA hidden stronghold, and the IWA ninjas disguised themselves as grass ninjas and tried to provoke war by killing people on the border. At the end of the letter, Xiaonan asked him not to worry about the shortage of supplies. Although the prices of materials needed by Zhao's organization have been increasing due to the war, she has mastered the method of making money, and the organization should not have any money difficulties in the future. In Bai Ye's letters, the words are much sharper. Not only did he ridicule the current philosophy of the Akatsuki organization in various ways, but he also roundly accused him of being unfit to continue to be the leader of the Akatsuki organization. He also mentioned Nagato and asked him to send Nagato to support him if he needed help with something urgent. After reading the letter, Yahiko frowned and looked out the window at the dark cloudy sky. Byakuya may exaggerate the description of IWA ninjas' behavior, but Conan will not. This shows that other ninja villages really want to drag the country of rain down to participate in the cruel ninja world war. With Lord Hanzo in charge, the Kingdom of Rain will naturally not lose, but what these ninjas do on the border is a real threat to the civilians of the Rain country. With the current capabilities of the Akatsuki organization, there is no way to stop them. Those foreign ninjas are definitely not as easy to convince as the ninjas in the Land of Rain. As the Akatsuki organization develops, its forces will cover more and more areas, and eventually they will inevitably have to fight against these foreign ninjas. Then, just as Bai Ye said, an irreversible conflict may break out. At that point, the Akatsuki organization would have no choice but to fight back, but in that case, the concept of mutual understanding between the Akatsuki organization will exist in name only, and the hatred accompanied by revenge will continue to become the seeds of the next round of disputes. However, no matter what, he will stick to his philosophy and will not waver. Cold rain splashed on Yahiko's skin. After recovering from the trance, Yahiko picked up Byakuya's letter again. After seeing Byakuya's request for support, he waved his hand in the distance. It was a few minutes before Nagato came over. This young man with red hair and youthful expression on his face is the most important member of the trio, at least that's what Yahiko thinks. After entering the office, Nagato lowered his head and asked, Yahiko, do you have a problem with me? Yahiko nodded, and then said, there is a situation with Xiaonan and Bai, and they need your support. Nagato raised his head, revealing circles of lavender eyes, and said in a panic, Yahiko, has something happened to Conan and the others? Yahiko shook his head and explained, they are safe and have sent urgent supplies to the organization. Logically speaking, they can come back now, but Bai Ye asked you by name to come and support. Nagato nodded as if he understood. I know, I will rush over. Where are they now? Yahiko took out a map from the drawer, marked the location for Nagato, and said, in Kusagakure village, you have to be careful when you go there alone. Many people are worried about your eyes. Nagato showed a rare smile. Yahiko, I'm actually quite strong. None of the other ninjas in the organization are my match, so don't worry about me. That's right. After all, you are the child of prophecy that teacher Jiraiya calls him. With the Samsara Eye, you will definitely be able to save the world in the future. But Nagato, do you really not consider being the leader of the Akatsuki organization? You are more suitable for this position than me. After chatting for a while, Yahiko finally saw him and expressed his idea of giving up. After creating the Akatsuki organization, Yahiko made Nagato the leader of the Akatsuki organization many times, but they were all rejected by Nagato. But Yahiko still did not give up the idea of abdicating his position as leader, because Nagato possesses the legendary Rinnegan Eye, which belongs to the Sage of Six Paths. It is precisely the existence of these eyes that makes Yahiko firmly believe that the ideals of the Akatsuki organization can be realized. Nagato's eyes fell on Yahiko, and he said solemnly, I am not suitable to be the leader of the Akatsuki organization. In my mind, the leader of the Akatsuki organization will always be you, Yahiko, but I have long been beyond my capabilities, and I do not have the strength to be a leader. Yahiko sighed softly in his heart and said casually. Nagato, forget it if you don't want to be the leader of the Akatsuki organization. Byakuya has been keeping an eye on this position. Maybe the leader position I reserved for you will become his one day. Go to Caoyin village to support Bai Ye and Xiaonan. If you don't accept my kindness, you will regret it sooner or later. After hearing this, Nagato felt a lot more relaxed. He was most afraid that Yahiko would let him be the leader of the Akatsuki organization. As for whether the position of leader would fall into the hands of others, it would depend on Yahiko's own wishes. He just wants to follow Yahiko and realize his dream of world peace. It doesn't even matter whether this dream comes true or not, as long as this life continues. After his parents and Jiraiya-sensei left, he had no other family. Nagato left the Akatsuki organization base and crossed the border of Rain country. Baizetsu, who was secretly monitoring Nagato, emerged from the ground. After glancing at Nagato, who had turned into a small black dot in the distance, he quickly got into the ground and rushed towards the territory of Grass country. Not long after, Baiju arrived at a cave underground in the country of Grass. There is a huge demon statue in the underground cave. On the chair in front of the demon statue, there is an old man with white hair lying with his eyes closed. Baizetsu came to the white-haired old man and said hesitantly, Madara-sama, Nagato left the country of Rain and now comes to the country of Grass where you are. After hearing this, Uchiha Madara opened his eyes. Why did Nagato leave the country of Rain? It seems that he was on a mission. During the time you were asleep, Nagato seemed to have joined an organization called Akatsuki. They were recruiting members in the land of Rain, advocating mutual understanding between people, and seemed to want to pass this as the way to achieve peace in the ninja world. Can peace be achieved if people understand each other? Uchiha Madara seemed to have thought of something. His expression became a little dazed, and then sneered. There was a fool who had a similar idea, but in the end he betrayed his companions. Let Nagato enjoy the game of playing house. After tasting the betrayal, he will join our side. Compared with the power of the Samsara Eye, any belief is fragile.